What is the Quad Cities like for a local? We're going to cover that and so much more. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back. We cover everything from living in the Quad Cities, and if that's something that you really like, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to get notified every single time we upload a new video. And I am a realtor here in the Quad Cities, and as much as I like making these videos, I love more helping you guys out find a place to live and call home. So pause the video, my number's down here, down below. Give me a call, send me a text, ask me any questions you might like. I'll be able to help you out, but let's get started. If you're living in the Quad Cities or you've done any kind of research, you probably already know that the Quad Cities is Iowa and the Illinois border. And because of that, you'll see a lot of locals that favor one side or the other. You'll get some competition, per se, on if you really like Iowa or they really like Illinois, and people talk about it all the time. It's not a toxic relationship by any means. Both sides work together to get stuff done in the Quad Cities. There's a Quad Cities Chamber, which includes both sides of the river. We do a lot of community events that include both sides. Just recently, we had the St. Patrick's Day Parade, which actually starts in Illinois and ends up in Iowa. So just a really good example of how the community comes together, even though there is that little tension between the Iowa and the Illinois side. Just know when you get here that you're going to hear it from both sides on which one's better. Everybody has their own opinion, but just be aware that it is something that goes on. Something else that you find out from locals is that the sports teams are very well liked here. We have the River Bandits, which is in downtown Davenport, which is a minor league baseball team. We have the Steamwheelers, and we also have the QC Storm. The Steamwheelers are an indoor football arena, and the QC Storm is a hockey team. Everybody really loves to support the local sports teams. A lot of pretty good participation from all the Quad Cities, and it's just something that is a piece of entertainment for us. We have a lot of local support, so it's really good to see that we have all of that going on. It's just a really big part of the community. So if you're moving here, just know a lot of sports things are going to be going on. All right, so let's talk local names. So you're moving to the Quad Cities, there's a few names that you need to get right. Otherwise, people are going to know that you're not from around here. I was the same way when I moved here. The big, huge example is the city of Milan. It looks like it's spelled Milan, but it's actually pronounced Milan. When you move here, make sure you're pronouncing that correctly, because you're going to stand out and you'll hear people talk about it and you're going to be confused because it doesn't look like how it's spelled, or it doesn't sound like how it's spelled. Another great example is the city of Moline. Sometimes you'll hear outsiders say Moline. It's spelled like Moline, but it's pronounced Moline. That one's not as common of a issue, but it does come up every now and then. And not only is there things that people may say differently, but there's local names. One example that I can think of is a park that's in Bettendorf. I always can tell if somebody's a local if they call it Rocket Park. That's not the actual name. It's actually called McManus Park. But if you say Rocket Park and they know exactly what you're talking about, well, you know they've been here for a while. Apparently, it's called Rocket Park because back in the day, some of the equipment they had there was shaped like a rocket. Everybody just started calling it Rocket Park, and it's kind of stuck for the locals. No longer has that equipment, so it's a bit confusing for us outsiders looking in. Why does people call it Rocket Park? Has that issue? Just know, if you hear somebody calling that, they've probably been here quite a while. Now, the Quad Cities has about 400,000 people that live in the metro area, and it may seem to some like a pretty large number, but to others, it may seem small. That's one thing I really enjoy about the Quad Cities is you have a metro area that is a bigger city, but you also have that small town feel where the community feels tightly knit. You can know people, know your neighbors, and not feel like everybody's a stranger. So just know 400,000 people may seem like a lot to some of you, may seem small to some of you, but has a big city feel in the right areas, and it has that small town vibe as far as the community goes. All right, so this is a big one for locals, and that is the ice cream that is locally made. Particularly, you have the division between Whitey's and country style. Now, I can't personally say I've ever had country style, but I've heard it's pretty dang good. But Whitey's, that's my favorite. I absolutely love Whitey's, and I go to it probably more often than I should. And speaking of food, so food in the Quad Cities, you have quite a bit of choice for a smaller metropolitan area. Some of my favorites is Thai food. So we have lemongrass, Miss Faye's, exotic Thai, and love all those choices. But if Thai is not your thing, we even have stuff like Ethiopian, which is in downtown Davenport. It's such a unique experience. I've never had it anywhere else except for in Davenport, but I absolutely love it down there. But you also get a lot of different choices as far as, say, Italian food. You have the pub style food, so burgers, brats, hamburgers, fries, all those sorts of things. A lot of different choices from that perspective. Again, for the metropolitan area of the Quad Cities being a little bit smaller, it's pretty good as far as that diverse choice and the different food options that you can get. Now, the people of the Quad Cities, their attitude may be a little bit shocking to some of you if you're not from here. And that is because the Quad City people are extremely nice. And it kind of stems back to, on the Iowa side, they call it Iowa nice, and it bleeds over into Illinois. And it's just people will take care of you no matter what the situation is. If you're walking into a gas station, most likely somebody's going to hold the door open for you. They're going to say please and thank you, sir and ma'am. It's just a part of the Quad Cities culture and something that I really enjoy personally. So I hope you enjoy it too once you move here. Now, I am a licensed realtor here in the Quad Cities, and as much as I like making these videos, I also love helping you find the home of your choice. Give me a call, send me a text. I'll help answer any questions that you might have. But if you want to know more about the Quad Cities, well, check out this video right here, because I cover the Quad Cities in a lot more detail.